This month saw a strong wave of regulatory activity with 11 major updates across North and South America. 12 significant developments from Europe and Africa, and Asia contributed 10 important moves. Let's dive into the top developments. In the Americas, September saw key fines and fresh legislation reshaping privacy enforcement. Texas led the month by expanding its Data Broker Act, broadening who must register and adding strict disclosure duties. In Canada, Ontario issued its first ever monetary penalties under health privacy law, fining a doctor and clinic for unauthorized access and weak safeguards. In the US, the FTC settled 2 COPPA cases. Disney will pay $10 million for mislabeling child videos on YouTube, while toy maker Apitor must delete unlawfully collected children's data. Just days later, a California jury ordered Google to pay $425 million after continuing to collect data despite disabled privacy settings, a sharp reminder that privacy controls must work as promised. Congress then passed the Homebuyers Privacy Protection Act, banning the abusive sale of mortgage trigger leads. State regulators also turned up the heat. California, Colorado, and Connecticut launched a joint sweep on global privacy control signals, while California advanced the Opt-Me-Out Act, mandating universal browser support for opt-out requests. In New York, proposed rules under the Safe for Kids Act set new safeguards against addictive social media features. Across the region, Brazil broke new ground with its first online child protection law, banning profiling, behavioral ads, and loot boxes, setting a precedent in Latin America. California's Office of Administrative Law approved major CCPA amendments, requiring notices on automated decision-making, risk assessments, and annual cybersecurity audits starting January 2026. And finally, Assembly Bill 45, regarding health and location data privacy, was signed into law by California's governor. In Europe and Africa, September saw major court rulings, record fines, and the rollout of new frameworks. The UKICO opened the month with final guidance on encryption, while France's CNIL levied major fines €325 million against Google for Gmail ads and cookie practices, and €150 million against Shine for unlawful tracking. Soon after, the CJEU clarified that pseudonymized data can remain personal and that emotional distress qualifies for GDPR compensation. Expanding supervisory powers for regulators like Hamburg's DPA and giving users more control over device data, the EU Data Act came into force on September 12th. Mid-month saw scrutiny of Meta's ad tech, Ireland's probe into location data brokers, and CNIL's reminder on retention of inactive accounts. In Africa, Nigeria's GAID took effect, operationalizing the NDPA 2023. The month ended with CNIL fining Samaritain €100,000 for hidden cameras, reinforcing strict limits on workplace surveillance. In Asia, September brought sweeping reforms, draft measures, and cross-border agreements shaping the region's data governance. Starting in China, on September 7th, the National People's Congress began reviewing amendments to the cybersecurity law, proposing higher penalties and broader liability. On September 9th, South Korea's PIPC and CISA launched a 3-month crackdown on the illegal online distribution of personal data, following a surge in hacking incidents. On September 12th, China's CAC released draft rules requiring large internet platforms to establish personal information protection supervisory committees to oversee compliance with the PIPL. On September 15th, CAC issued the National Cybersecurity Incident Reporting Measures, requiring major incidents to be reported within 1 hour starting November 1st. On September 16th, CAC also proposed draft measures for platforms with significant minor users. That same day, South Korea and the EU finalized a landmark adequacy decision, enabling smoother cross-border data flows. Vietnam's Ministry of Public Security published a draft decree clarifying the PDPL, and Abu Dhabi's ADGM amended its regulations to allow certain sensitive data processing in the public interest. Later in the month, on September 23rd, South Korea amended the PHIPA enforcement decree, tightening obligations for both overseas businesses and local public institutions. Finally, on September 24th, Jordan approved new regulations on data subject rights, and New Zealand's Privacy Amendment Bill received royal assent, enhancing transparency and strengthening individual control over personal information. Before we sign off, here's what to watch next. October and beyond bring pivotal rulemakings and consultations. India is set to issue long-awaited DPDPA rules, while the EU has launched Brazil's adequacy process and opened consultations on DSA GDPR compliance and digital simplification. In the US, NIST seeks comments on post-quantum cryptography. Colorado considers stronger children's privacy rules, and Massachusetts advances a new privacy bill. Brazil is also moving forward on cybersecurity and LGPD amendments. Lawmakers are beginning to debate the MIND Act on neural data, and California pushes ahead with multiple new privacy bills, including universal opt-out signals. Together, these developments signal more global alignment, sharper enforcement, and new frontiers like neurodata regulation. That's a wrap for this month. Stay informed, stay compliant. See you next month.